I'll go ahead and start. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful Friday evening, afternoon, depending on wherever you are. And today I want to talk about my career journey to and at Google. And I sincerely thank Pranay for reaching out to me and GDSC at UWM for giving me this opportunity to share my experience. Um, Extremely glad to have this chance and hope you all get something to take away from today's talk. So let's jump right in. I'll first talk a little bit about me, a little bit about my background, and then I'll give you a short introduction to the talk by going through the agenda for today. Um, so, about me, I'm Saipriya, and I've been working as a software developer at Google for a year now. In fact, I finished a year in December last year. So just finished a year, but I still consider myself very much a noogler. So for those who don't know, noogler is a new Googler because there's so much to learn here. And since this is my first job out of college as a software engineer, I did work for a year in India, but a year is not enough to pick up all the skills you need, and even now I still feel I'm new to this, but I'm learning, and it's been a wonderful journey so far. And coming to my background, I did my bachelor's in electronics and communication engineering in Geetam University, Hyderabad, India. And post that, I worked for a year as a software engineer at Verizon, and I was a full stack developer there. Learned a few basic software engineer skills, but I think I pretty much had to start afresh again. But that was a good start. And then I came here for my master's, and I did my master's in robotics and autonomous systems at Arizona State University in Tempe, Arizona. And I definitely got to do a lot of interesting and cool stuff there. A lot of robotics, AI projects like path planning for robots and image recognition. Though it's been a long time I touched those tools. It was definitely a lot of cool stuff that I got to do there. So after that, I started applying for software engineer jobs post graduation, and I landed up here. And to give you some introduction about what to expect in the talk, I'll first go through my interview preparation, then how my interview at Google went, and how my journey has been so far at Google, and some general tips and guidance that, according to me, might help you all. Yeah. Um, so let's go and look at the interview preparation. Um, so for any software engineering interview, I think the most important thing is data structures and algorithms. And since I didn't have a computer science degree, I had to like start from scratch mostly for data structures and algorithms. And one book to get the basics right that I would highly recommend is Cracking the Coding Interview. So this book has all that we need: uh, linked lists, tags, queues, breadth first search, depth first search, even dynamic programming. With the concepts have been explained in detail, and then there are also a lot of implementation examples. So how I like to prepare was pick a particular topic, go through the concept, and then practice the implementations as given in the book, and then start some easy problems on lead code, and then slowly move on to medium, and then maybe some hard ones, which a lot of those needed me to look at the solutions, but I think that's okay. And I did have a lead code premium subscription, so that helped me have access to a lot of solutions. And when they didn't work, I used to also look at the discuss section where um, other people post their solutions, and and some solutions are for me had been more complicated, so I didn't understand through the by just by looking at them. I did definitely check out videos on YouTube explaining the solutions. So I'm extremely grateful to all these people who upload solution videos on YouTube, like helping so many people out there. And yeah, that was extremely helpful to me. And that was one major guidance I had. And yeah, um, one other thing which helped me a lot, which actually helped me see my progress as I was practicing more and more coding, was the mock interviews. So I did apply to a lot of jobs. So I graduated in May 2021 and I got my offer for this job in November 2021. So that was a long time I took to prepare, and I hope this presentation helps you all and none of you have to wait for that long to get a job. So as I graduated, I immediately started applying to as many jobs as possible, and I gave a number of interviews. Um, it took some time for my applications to get accepted and start getting interview calls, but once I started getting them. Um, and so when I looked at my performance in the first interview to the last interview, I could definitely see the progress as I was solving more problems and giving more mock interviews. So I will definitely recommend trying to solve more problems and doing mock interviews, because it actually helps you know where you stand, and also trying to give as many interviews as possible. So Pramp was the website that I used. What this website does is basically matches you up with another candidate who is also preparing for interviews, and it gives you a 30-minute session if I'm not wrong, and you get 15 minutes to interview the other person, and they get 50% of the time to interview you, and the question is decided by the website. So they're all standard questions, standard coding questions, and they were really helpful. And I would also say that I got some of the questions I practiced on Pramp in my actual interviews, so would definitely recommend that. And I since many of you might already be familiar with software engineering interviews and how the format goes, like how talking through your code helps, and how um, what are the basic things that you have to do in a software engineering interview, like making sure you understand the question, repeating the question, and asking about the edge cases if there are multiple solutions. So these are some of the skills that I picked up through this course that I did on Coursera called Mastering the Software Engineering Interview. And right from how to talk confidently in an interview, to how to crack behavioral rounds, to doing well in a coding round, the basic practices, the best practices, and um, and they I remember they even talked about imposter syndrome in the course. So it's a very wholesome course, and would definitely whoever wants to take it can take it to, if you're not very familiar with how to perform well in the interview, especially coding interview. So yeah, these are some of the things that I did and worked for me. I'm sure there are a lot of other sources and a lot of other things that you can do, and um, definitely more coding platforms that you can use. Late code is by far uh, not the only option. So you please feel free to explore around, but these things definitely worked for me. So yeah, and then let's go to how my interview at Google went. So there were 4 rounds. The first one was 4 coding rounds and 1 behavioral round. My first one was the behavioral round, where they basically check you for how googly you are. It's like a googliness interview. And um, I would say the questions are pretty standard questions which they ask, which you would have for any company doing your behavioral interview, like the projects you worked on, or your your challenges at work or previous projects or those kind of things. But um, yeah, how confidently you answer these questions will would be the only determining factor in your behavioral round. And in the other coding rounds, one important factor I would like to highlight would be that um, so I gave a lot of interviews at other companies as well, but where I felt the most comfortable and least nervous was when I was interviewing at Google, because the interviewers were extremely friendly, made me very comfortable. They start with a small talk and slowly try to ease you into the question, and are very patient. They answer all my queries, and also try to nudge me to the right way if I was straying off the right solution or anything of that sort. So they were extremely helpful. And so the coding rounds went, so I wasn't as nervous as I expected myself to be. So shout out to all the interviewers at Google. And yeah, even in general, personally I didn't find any rude interviewers, but then I have heard cases where the interviewer might not be as friendly, but when you keep giving interviews, you'll definitely eventually um, end up getting something really nice. So um, yeah, but I would definitely highlight the fact that the interviewers being helpful and friendly helps you really have your clarity of thought and think through the solution. And some tips would be to make sure you understand the question, repeat the question, consider all the edge cases, and then start coding and talk through your solution as much as possible so as to maintain clarity for both you and the interviewer. And they are always there to help you, so try to consider them as your friend. Yeah. And at Google, so I work at the Raleigh Durham area, North Carolina, Google site. And this is a pretty new office. The office also started when I started my job here. So it's kind of, so it's been 1 year for the office now. And it's been wonderful. And I work for the cloud firewall team here. And most of the teams are new. Most of my teammates are new. So but my manager has been at Google for a very long time, and you I definitely get to see that culture and how the teams work. So the projects that we are working on also are very new, so we have a lot of freedom right now. And I'm loving that freedom. So yeah. And coming to the tools and technology at Google, Google has got a ton of tools, and most of them are internal. So even if you have like 6 or 7 years experience outside, you still have to mostly start from scratch when it comes to using these tools. So we don't use GitHub at Google. uh, we don't use any of the standard technologies which are most of the standard technologies which are used outside. Our deployment pipelines are different. So uh, but there is a lot of abstraction, so you don't have to make a lot of design decisions. For instance, if you want to store your data somewhere, we have Spanner, which is highly available and highly scalable, so you don't really have to make a lot of design level decisions for your storage. So a lot of your external dependencies get taken care of because of the abstractions, and the tools are extremely efficient and powerful. That also kind of shows how talented and passionate the people here are. And you find all these incredibly motivated teams, and of course all the state of the art products. You get to see the launches, and you get to use firsthand the products before release. So we basically get an internal email before they release a lot of things. For instance, in Meet, we get to try a lot of tools before they release, so that's a lot of fun to do, and you get to experience them firsthand and give feedback. And there is documentation available for almost everything, um, from design doc to how to request a holiday or where to find discounts. So yeah, so lot of documentation, whether it's related to work or not. And the best part is the intranet search engine. So there's like this internal search engine where you can search for anything you want. And So for people like me who don't remember where they saved something or where they found something last, it's very helpful because you don't have to keep anything in your mind, and you just can go back and search for it, and you'll find the documentation or whatever the link was that you wanted to find. And then we also use a monolithic repository. So we have access to almost all the code, and like even if you want to look at how Google search was written, you can go and take a look at it. You may not be able to understand most of it, but it's really good that we have access to all of that. So there's a lot of code that we can take a look at and learn from and get inspired by. So, and there's a lot of freedom as well. So, since our project is new, we had the freedom to use among the main three languages that our APIs are written in cloud, especially. We could choose which language to use for the backend APIs that we wanted to write for. So that was a very helpful thing. And I'm currently working in the as of more on the front end layer of an application in Google Cloud. So yeah, it's very helpful that we have this repository where we can look at anything and also have the freedom to choose what we want to do. Then coming to the other perks, the work life balance is amazing. I've never got a ping in the weekend. Um, and you can expense a lot of things at Google. And the best thing is you can expense out learning as well. And it doesn't just have to be related to work. For instance, I am taking some harmonica lessons, and I've also expensed out those lessons. So I would say it's very kind of them to expense out those things as well. And They also give massage points. So as soon as you join, you earn one massage. And then when I recently finished 1 year, I also earned another massage. So that is also a really good perk, I feel personally. And then these are just a few of the perks that I remember on top of my head, but then there's so much. Yeah, the amount of options you have on campus. The building here is very new, but then if you go to the Mountain View campus, there are so many things. And I think the best thing is uh, that the food is free. So here we have breakfast and lunch, which is completely free. And uh, and the food is really good and healthy, and there are a lot of options as well. And I think in Mountain View campuses you also get dinner, and at many other campuses I think they also serve dinner. So hopefully they are planning to build a campus here, so hopefully we'll have all those even here. Yeah, and then of course the culture is amazing. As soon as I joined the team, what I observed was, even though people are completely different from different backgrounds, when they come together, they're very inclusive. um, Very inclusive. Listen to you, accept your views, very give respect to your views. So no matter where what their position is, like even the directors and vice presidents here are extremely technical, which may not be the case in many other areas, where most of the people in managerial positions tend not to be so technically sound. But people here, even my manager is extremely technical and sometimes explains some concepts to me. So that also I find really wonderful and inspiring. Um, yeah, and you get to see world class technology every day. So, as a noogler, some of the tips that I would suggest, which according to my observation may or may not work, would be as a software engineer, it's extremely important to be adaptive. You don't know what you get to work on next, and your project or product that you're working on may change anytime, sometimes even midway. Sometimes you have to drop something and start working on something else. So it's very important to be adaptable, being open to learning. As new technologies come, we have to keep upskilling, and yeah, not sticking to just one particular technology, and being open to working on whatever comes to your way, and being passionate and curious about technology in general, I think will be very helpful in this field. um yeah, and even I myself, I'm still working on all of these skills, and hope to be better every day. mm. And last but not the least, believe in yourself, and especially in these uncertain times when there are a lot of layoffs going on. The market is seems very tight, and might seem difficult to land a job during certain times. But I'm sure that all these tech companies they're not going anywhere. They'll definitely need to hire more, and they'll keep hiring. And I think right out of college is the best time to get hired, because I think most of the companies are still open to hiring people who are coming out of campus. So I don't think you all have to worry about anything at all. And what you're all doing at Google Developer Student Club and so early on is amazing. And I'm sure you're all much ahead than me when I was searching for jobs. So you're all already far ahead, and all the best to all of you. Thank you so much. And open to Q&A. And I apologize if I'm not able to answer some of the questions if it's out of my knowledge, but I'll try my best.
So thank you so much, Saipriya. That was a very informative session that you gave. I didn't know that Google doesn't use GitHub. I thought they use GitHub, some kind of version control system. So
They
that's
do,
a
but yeah, it's
okay.
their own internal tool. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's a kind of shocking thing that I realized. So actually, when you're talking about the book, I actually had that book by myself, that tracking the coding interview thing. So as you said, it's an amazing book to start with. Actually, so I recommend my audience to buy this book and start working on it. So now the this thing is open to questions. So if you have any questions that you want to ask Saipriya, just raise your hand so that I can call out your name and you can unmute yourself and ask the questions. Okay, so let's see. So Mustafa Ali Khan, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, Saipriya. Hi, Pranay.
Hi
Can
there.
you hear my
Hello.
voice, real?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Saipriya, that was a really good presentation. It
Thank you.
really gave me info to new things which I wasn't aware. Um, my question is related to coding interviews.
Right.
What if in an interview you are stuck or you don't know? How do you process that?
Okay. So basically, for a given question, you can either go for the brute force approach, or an efficient solution. So generally, how I would go about is, first make sure that I understand the question, explain the approach that I want to take, and when the interviewer says it's good to go, then I start coding. So so if you've already explained your solution to the interviewer and you are stuck, then I would say in most of the cases the interviewer would say that, this was the approach that you wanted to try, so what kind of data structure, or what kind of what would be the next step that would help you be unstuck here, or they would slightly maybe even tell you what to do next to reach the right approach.
Oh, so
So
they give us hints.
yeah, they'll definitely give you hints. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, feel free to voice out that you're feeling kind of stuck and you're not sure what to do next. So in case they don't see that you're stuck and don't give hint by themselves, you can ask for them explicitly. um
Yeah,
um,
because that's what I thought initially. Like you said, if I'm stuck somewhere, I would just go with brute force. But brute force is not always the most efficient one.
yeah.
Yeah, if I think about it, so I heard someone telling me, "Oh, I solved that solution in O of n cubed or something."
Mhm.
It works, but it's not efficient.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yes, so I guess
But
your point clears it out. Maybe I can ask for hints if the interview is nice. But do you think it would be a good idea in interviews to tell the interviewer that, hey, maybe I think I cannot figure out how do I go ahead from here?
yeah, so if this is a more efficient way, and then you also know the brute force approach, then ask you I would suggest to tell the interviewer that, you know this seems, I know what to do here, but I'm not very sure about the next step here, but I can solve the brute force approach, and I can tell you how to make it more efficient, or something like that. So as long as the interviewer is okay with the brute force approach, you can definitely go for it. And I would say a working brute force solution is better than something which is not working. Like having some code is better than not being able to code at all, or being stuck completely. So
Well, yeah, definitely. Yeah, something
yeah,
is better than nothing.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Th
So
Thank you
yeah,
so much
but
for
if
that
your
answer.
interviewer is clear that they don't
Mhm.
want your brute force approach, you can always uh, talk through your solution first before you start coding. So if they're not okay with that, then you can maybe spend time, tell them that maybe I need like 1 or 2 minutes to think about this, and I'm sure they won't say that no, you can't take some time. You definitely can. And even then, if you can't solve, then you can tell them that okay, maybe I'll go for some other approach. Or
Okay. Oh, another quick question popped up in my head.
yeah.
How much is the language flexibility you get in interviews? Is it of our own choice, or are there any restrictions there as well?
Um, as long as it's one of the popular ones, I mean mostly used ones, I think there is 100% flexibility. Like I did most of my interviews in Python, so that is definitely acceptable at most places. And as far as I saw, Python, Java, C++, I think even JavaScript at many places are okay. So they're quite flexible. I've not seen a single interview where they say no, this is the particular language that you have to use. So as long as one of these is good with you, it should be okay.
Okay, I apologize, but I another question popped up in my head.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
sure.
If you
mister.
don't mind me asking.
As long as Pranay is okay with that.
Pranay, this is my last one. Okay, I
Because
promise
we
I'm
have
going after
people in
this.
queue.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
fine. Sure.
What's your opinion on using built-in library functions in coding interviews? Do you think
I
that's a good idea?
I would say go for it, because anything that makes you not waste time or make the code unnecessarily long, and also tries to show you also get to show off that you know this particular built-in function, and if it's already available, why would you write the whole thing? So I would definitely say go for it, and if you know how to do it with and without, then, and if you have time, go for both the approaches. So yeah, the try to show it off if you know if you know the built-in function as well.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks,
Uh,
Pranay.
Thank you so much,
Just
Mustafa.
Thanks.
just 1 minute, Pranay. Sai,
Mm.
Priya, this is Hari Bharat, by the way. I'm the data science core member for GDSC. I just have
Hi.
one tip just have one tip for the first question that Mustafa asked. From the interviews that I've attended, like if you are stuck somewhere in an interview, like I mean you're doing a live coding and you're kind of stuck and you don't know how to proceed, you can always ask the interviewer, like, instead of coding the whole thing, can I just, write down the pseudocode and show it up to you, so that, this is the approach that I have. This is the pseudocode that I'll follow, but I'm not able to code it up in the live moment. They'll usually understand that you're nervous. So you can just ask them always that, can I, write it as a pseudocode, and then you can review it afterwards. It actually helped in some of the interviews. And so it's always better to, at least show them a simple pseudocode that they'll understand. So that's one tip that I would like to give. Sorry to interrupt you, Saipriya, but that
No,
actually works for
definitely.
me.
That's a very very good tip.
Mm.
That works a lot too. Yeah. I'm sorry I missed that, but thank you for
Yeah, no, I had a practical experience, so I thought it might be useful for some
yeah,
people.
Mm.
definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Harivarat, for chiming in. And we
Thanks,
have next,
Haribarat.
yeah. So we have next person. Name is Yasasvi. So just unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Hi Saipriya and hi
Hello.
Pranay.
Hi there.
Yeah. So, first of all, thanks a lot for arranging this meeting. Like, it's really inspiring to hear all your story and how your success stories and hearing about Google in particular.
Mm.
Yeah. So my doubt is, like, as you have mentioned, I am from electronics and communications background as well.
Oh.
Uh, so like for non-CS background people, like the main thing is that it's really difficult to get an interview call itself.
Hmm.
Like maybe they might have the required skills, but getting an interview call is really difficult sometimes. So what are like specific skill set or do you recommend in particular to build our profile that can get us a really good interview calls from these companies? Like, what can we have specifically in our profile to make it better, to make ourselves appeal more?
Yes. So what helped me was, since I had worked for a year, I had some of the projects to show in my resume from there. So if you don't have that, if you've done internships or part time anywhere where you've done software, worked on software applications, you definitely highlight those projects. And if you don't have those either, you can do some personal projects probably. Um, and a lot of courses to learn different software engineering skills, free and also paid. And then there are also there are projects at the end of most of the courses there. So doing those and adding the skills that you learn from those projects in your resume, I think can help you a lot. And mostly maybe trying to work on an end-to-end application will help you in most of the software roles that you want to apply for. So some basically some languages, some tools in the back end, some frameworks in the front end or back end, all those things will definitely add more power to your resume.
Yeah.
I
So,
hope I
so,
answered
so
your
do you
question.
recommend? Yes, yes, yeah. So, like, do you recommend any specific online courses or something like that where we can do our own projects which are really useful? Uh, are there any specific things like that where we can build our projects?
So mm I don't have anything on top of my head right now, but I think it's better to explore yourself. Read, there are many options: Udemy, Coursera, all these platforms, and
Yeah.
there are more, I think, which are available. And you better to read through the course and what project they do at the end, and see if you find it interesting personally or not, and based on that, decide which one to take up.
Okay. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Thank you.
That answers my question. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, SSP, for your question. And we have next question from Geeta Akula.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can hear you, Geeta.
Hello, Saipriya. Hello, Pranay.
Hi
Hi.
there.
Yeah, it was a good talk and very informative. I had a couple of questions for you.
Sure.
Yeah, how is this recession affecting you, and how could it affect the upcoming graduates? Like, yeah, you're working in a team, right? And how that recession is affecting your team, or your friends are working in the Google, right?
So the team I work for is in Google Cloud, and Google Cloud did not face a lot of problems through recession. Like they're still hiring a few people in Google Cloud, especially.
Mm-hmm.
So cloud wasn't hit as much.
Okay.
But even in general, I don't think the like we have a lot of information about what's going to happen, because when they announced the layoffs, it was a shock to all of us as much as it was a shock to the rest of the world. So I don't think I can say much about how it's going to affect. Hopefully, it doesn't affect much in the future. But then I would say we can never say, and we should always be prepared for anything happening. And as long as we keep upskilling ourselves and staying not losing belief in ourselves, I think that should help us stay
Yeah.
in the uncertain times. Yeah.
Yeah. Clear. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
And
thank you
no
so
matter the company, like as long as you are passionate about your work, that should be the only thing that matters the most. Definitely you can we can all have gratitude towards the company, but at the end of the day, it's you. So yeah, and um I'm sure these times would get better, and there would be a time of huge growth too after this. So yeah, staying positive.
yeah. So thank you so much, Geeta, for your question. And we have last 2-3 minutes to go. And next person is Vedant. Vedant, you can unmute yourself. Okay. So Vedant question is in chat. So Vedant question is, are you supposed to work on weekends too? I have heard people working on fixing bugs and maintenance over weekend as they collab with teams worldwide. So yeah.
So it depends on where your depends on the team and at what stage your project is, and whether you're on call or not. So when you're on call, you also get paid extra for that particular time. So they do consider that if at all you have to work during weekends. And yeah, if your project is not deployed yet, then I don't think there is any reason usually for you to be available on weekends. But then if there is an urgency, then you might have to. But at Google, I haven't seen anybody getting pinged on weekends, um at least the people that I know. And I have heard from my friends that some of them had to work at weekends in other places, but I think that again depends on how urgent the project is and what the need of the team or project is. So yeah, that would be my answer.
Thank you so much, Saipriya. So we have last two questions if you're okay, because officially the time is over. So if you want, we can attend these last two questions and I will let you go.
Yeah, sure, no
Sure.
problem.
Thank
Keep
you
it
so much.
coming.
So, so we have a question from Akshat. So he said, hello, Saipriya. It was a good talk and a very informative. I had a couple of questions for you. How is this recession affecting you, and how could it affecting the upcoming graduates? So, yeah.
So far, it hasn't affected me. I'm still employed, and I hope I don't get any other effects. But I think I already answered this question pretty much earlier.
Mm,
So
yeah.
unless you want to add anything, feel free.
I mean, I actually recently visited Mountain View campus of Google. So when I actually landed in California, that day itself, Twitter layoffs started when Elon Musk took over during November or something. So it
Right.
was a very tense moment going on in the valley, but everyone was like, yeah, this kind of dips happen, but at the end, you have to make sure that in this recession period, you should not let yourself down, but instead you have to build on your profile so that when company starts hire, you need to be there ready that company can pick you up instead of you then saying that, okay, give me some time, I will learn and come back to you. So this period you should be learning more and focusing more on building your profile. So that was the advice given by Martin Omander, who were working in Mountain View campus. So yeah, so that was that advice, and I tell it to everyone who might come
Definitely.
across.
That's great advice. Great
Yeah.
advice.
So we have another question from Shushma. I guess that's the last question. So can I know how did you initially start to code? What is your approach? I think there is no specific site to code topic wise. It's wholesome. So what did you do for that?
Mm, if specific to preparing for interviews, I first started reading what are the important topics and like standard questions in interviews. So
Mhm.
there are a lot of websites which highlight the basic most of the
No,
standard topics.
I'm just asking in general, not especially for an interview, just in general, how did you initially start things that way?
Initially start things maybe during
So I am
bachelor's
currently in
I
my
even
first semester, so I just want to know how things go. That's
right. So for me personally, I think in bachelor's I've even written code in assembly language to do some things like 7 segment display, microprocessor codes. And then even before that, in my school, I had C++ in my 11th and 12th grade. I think that was the very first time I started coding, and they were very basic codes that I started with at that time. And then in my bachelor's, assembly codes, and then yeah, data structures a little bit in my bachelor's, and then after coming here I started properly doing more code in DSA field especially. So I again, coming to that, I read important topics on websites, and they're mostly linked list, tags, queues, BFS, DFS, and they do get extremely interesting once you get the basic coding skills right. So yeah, keep going. I think uh, based on the subjects that you have, they start on the easy codes that you can write and then advance from there. So as you go along with the subjects and also take advice from your lecturers and friends as well, I think you'll get along fine. Hopefully, I hope I answered your question. Let me know if you have anything else specific to ask.
no, that's good. You answered my question. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much, Sushma, for your question. I guess that's the end of the whole Q&A thing. But I have one last question before I leave you.
Oh no.
So, so I mean, it's an easy one. So, what's your whole take on ChatGPT thing and the rivalry between the Microsoft Bing acquiring ChatGPT and Google is trying to build their own generative AI thing?
Bad.
So, yeah, but so, and we saw the presentation and how it went and how the shares tumbling down and also
Yeah.
what's your point of view in that? So, what's going on in Google campuses right now? So I heard it's kind of code red alert going on regarding this situation.
Um, I'm
I-
not aware of other teams, but at least not
uh,
in my team.
mhm,
No code red alert, but
mhm.
yeah, that is sad what happened there. But then I think
Mhm,
maybe it kind of shows where we can do more thorough testing and before
mhm,
we present something and being
mhm,
more sure about things. But then
mhm,
it's nice when there is more competition, and I like it if there is no monopoly anywhere. So it's good that there are a lot of people working on AI, and I think AI, cloud, these are some areas where there's going to be a lot of growth. So those would be few of the areas to focus on right now, and it's extremely interesting. And I use ChatGPT a lot, and it is extremely impressive. And then they also released a version of Apprentice Bard internally in
mhm,
Google, and we've been interacting with it, and we can see that there can be some areas of improvement, but both the tools are definitely not easy to build, and they've definitely gone beyond um, a lot of the things we have currently, and very impressive, both of them. So yeah,
That's a very
shares will
nice
keep
answer.
going up and down. We can't really do anything about it. And then
That's a very clever answer. So, are you allowed to use ChatGPT because it's a rivalry tool now? So, is there any kind of restrictions Google has placed on their employees that you cannot
no,
use ChatGPT or something? You should use
no.
our own AI. Nothing. So,
No restrictions at all on any employee, on any technology. I don't think they have anything like that in any company. Yeah.
I mean, for TCS we used to have, so we are not allowed to use YouTube also. So yeah,
What?
yeah,
Uh,
Tata Consulting Service. We have so many restrictions.
with your company laptop?
Yeah, in my
Okay.
company laptop or in office anyway. So yeah.
Okay. But
So
mostly I used it in my personally, but yeah, but
mhm,
there's no restriction in yeah, using it in office either. We use it.
that's great.
And-
So do you really think that AI is going to take over our jobs? Because that is the famous question I'm getting everywhere. Is ChatGPT is going to take my job in upcoming years?
I
So
think AI will even create equal, if not more, jobs than the ones that it takes away. And I think most of the jobs that machines can take away are more
mhm,
mechanical and not really creative. So,
mhm.
but then I recently read an article where there's a system which tries to create music from the database it has. So you never know, but I think it's nice that all these repetitive jobs get automated and we get to focus on what we really want to do. So I think it's really nice that AI is coming up
Mm.
more. And if AI can be dangerous or not, I don't know if I don't know if I know enough
Mm.
right now to predict the future. But
Mhm,
it's going to be very interesting, and I think more work is going to be
mhm,
more collaborative than AI taking over, like
mhm,
with all this Neuralink. And I think
mm,
there are going to be a lot of chip implants. I think that's definitely a thing for the future where it's going to be more
mm,
collaborative
mhm.
with AI and human intelligence. So it's going
So
to be interesting to see what it turns out to be.
yeah.
Actually, on a funny note, yesterday I
Mm.
was reading an article where it read like OpenAI's CEO is planning on like cutting down his staffs with the help of, since ChatGPT is there. So think about the developers who developed a bot that would take their own job.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Layoffs
Yeah,
are
the
everywhere.
code, it can really write. I think, yeah, these systems can write really efficient codes, and yeah,
Mm.
even
Yeah,
I
Uh,
get
but
scared sometimes if it'll take away my job. So
uh,
I don't know.
still, yeah, I don't think it's going to take our jobs anytime soon. You can still. I was messing around with ChatGPT, convincing ChatGPT that 8 + 3 is 14. And it kept saying, okay, it's 14. And then the next time I said, no, it's just 11. And then it accepted that too. And when I said it's 13, it accepted that too. So there's still a long, long way for improvement in AI chatbots. So I think we are
Definitely.
safe.
See, this is on record. Hari, if AI takes over, you are the first person that is going down. Just saying.
I might
Yeah.
not be in this country by then.
Anyway, but thank you so much, Saipriya, for staying overboard 10 minutes in our thing. But thank you so much
And
for attending this event. And
just one more thing, Pranay.
Mhm,
Saipriya, if there's any mode of easy contact for you so that
mm.
our students can reach out with questions, you can say it here, or you can put it in the chat, like if our students want to ask any questions to you, because they'll be watching YouTube recordings of this, and if they have any questions, they can contact you. So what's the easy mode of contact for you?
So it's
I think
LinkedIn or
LinkedIn.
anything. Yeah,
LinkedIn?
Twitter,
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I will
Yeah,
share her LinkedIn in our group itself.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much again, Saipriya, and it was a wonderful session. And there are so many things that we have learned. And we will upload this recording in the YouTube, and we will share the link out to you. And thank you so much for attending. And after this, we are going to spin a wheel and select 3 winners. And you can, if you want to stay, you can stay, or if you want to leave, you can leave. But
Sure, sure. I'll stay. I'll stay.
oh,
I'm curious to see who.
okay then.
And this was
Thank you.
awesome. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the chance.
Thank you so much, Saipriya. So let me, I'll share my screen now. So I hope everyone can see my screen. So just type 5 in chat, not yes or anything. Just type 5 in chat if everyone can see my screen. Does oh 5 1 5. That's great. Great. Okay. Cool. Now
Have you made sure that all the names are there, Pranay?
yeah, that
The
was
last
my
time I did a spin wheel, I missed one name.
someone typed
And
15. He's not concentrating in the class. So anyway, so just look at your names. Is your name present or not? So if your name is not present, just let me know. I can put up your name here. So I'll be giving you just 10 seconds to spot your name. So 5 seconds. Okay. Did I?
This Tejasri, whose name is not there, she's
Okay,
put up in the chat.
I guess my name is not there. Okay, fine. Tejasri, Teja, SHRE. Let me cross check that. Yeah, got it. Okay, then. So we'll be spinning the wheel. So who has joined late and thinking why we are spinning this wheel? So we will spin this wheel 3 times. Whoever name is got picked. So we'll be distributing 2 stickers per person. So it will be a Google developer stickers. You can stick it on your laptop or anywhere you like, in your bottle or somewhere. Okay. So let's spin the wheel. Great. First person, Rishika. Okay. So Rishika, just shoot me a message or mail me so that we can meet and I can give you the sticker. And let's remove your name first. Rishika. So next spin. Congrats, Varshika. Varshika. So Varshika, just contact me after this event or mail me so that we can fix a spot and I can give you the stickers. So last spin now. Let's see who wins the last one. Akshat, there you are. So AKSHATH, Akshat. So just contact me personally so that I can give you your stickers. And thank you so much, everyone, for attending this event. And thank you so much, Saipriya, for attending this event and giving us valuable insights.
Thank you and congrats to all the winners. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.